Hello, everyone. Today we will talk about how learning English can be easy if you follow the right steps. Many people think that learning a new language is difficult, but the truth is that it depends on the method you use. If you practice every day and stay consistent, you will see progress quickly. The key is to enjoy the process and not be afraid of making mistakes. Mistakes are not failures. They are lessons that help you grow. Every time you make a mistake, you learn something new, and that brings you closer to fluency. The first thing you need is the right mindset. If you believe that learning English is too difficult, your brain will resist. However, if you see it as an exciting challenge, you will stay motivated. Confidence is one of the most important factors in learning a language. If you trust yourself and your ability to improve, you will progress much faster. Even when you feel stuck, remember that learning is a journey, and every small step counts. Another important step is to find a strong reason to learn English. Maybe you want to travel, get a better job, study abroad, or make international friends. When you have a clear purpose, it becomes easier to stay committed. Motivation is the fuel that keeps you moving forward. So remind yourself every day why you started learning English in the first place. The stronger your reason, the more dedicated you will be. Surrounding yourself with English as much as possible is also key. Try to listen to English music, watch movies, and read books or articles in English. The more you expose yourself to the language, the more familiar it will become. At first, you might not understand everything, and that's okay. Your brain will slowly get used to the sounds and structures, making it easier to learn new words and phrases naturally. Finally, be patient and avoid comparing yourself to others. Everyone learns at a different pace, and that's completely normal. Focus on your own progress and celebrate even the smallest achievements, like learning a new word or successfully completing a short conversation. The most important thing is to keep practicing and never give up, because every effort you make brings you one step closer to fluency. Chapter 2. Listening is the key. Many people struggle with understanding spoken English, but listening is one of the best ways to learn naturally. When you were a baby, you didn't start speaking immediately. First, you listened to the sounds around you, recognized words, and slowly started speaking. The same process happens when learning English. If you listen to English every day, even if you don't understand everything, your brain will start recognizing patterns and sounds. A great way to improve your listening skills is to listen to things you enjoy. You can start with songs, movies, podcasts, or even YouTube videos. If you like a specific topic, find content related to it in English. At first, you can use subtitles, but try to reduce your dependence on them over time. The goal is to train your ears to recognize words without needing translations. Repetition also helps. Listening to the same audio multiple times allows you to catch new words and understand the context better. Another useful technique is shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a native speaker and repeating what they say as quickly as possible. This method improves your pronunciation, rhythm, and listening skills at the same time. Start with short sentences, then move to longer phrases. Don't worry about getting every word perfect. Focus on improving little by little. It's also important to pay attention to intonation and stress. English speakers don't pronounce every word with the same emphasis. Some words are stressed more than others, which affects meaning and comprehension. When you listen, try to notice these patterns. Imitating native speakers' pronunciation will help you sound more natural. The most important thing is to make listening a daily habit. Even if you only listen for 10 to 15 minutes a day, consistency will make a big difference. Over time, you'll start to recognize words more easily, and understanding spoken English will become much easier. Chapter 3: Speaking with Confidence. Many learners are afraid to speak English because they worry about making mistakes. But the truth is, mistakes are part of learning. If you don't practice speaking, you won't improve. The best way to gain confidence is to start speaking, even if it's just a few words a day. The more you speak, the more comfortable you will become, and soon you will realize that it's not as difficult as you thought. One effective method is to talk to yourself in English. You can describe your daily activities, express your thoughts, or even repeat phrases from books or movies. This helps you practice without pressure and makes speaking feel more natural. If possible, record yourself and listen to your pronunciation. It may feel strange at first, but it's a great way to identify areas for improvement. Finding a speaking partner is also very helpful. If you don't have a native English speaker to talk to, you can practice with friends, join online communities, or use language exchange apps. Speaking with others forces you to think quickly, which helps you develop fluency. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Most people will appreciate your effort and help you improve. Another great technique is to memorize useful phrases and sentence structures. Instead of trying to translate everything in your head, learn expressions that you can use in daily conversations. This will make speaking faster and more natural. The key is to practice regularly and not let fear stop you. The more you speak, the more confident you will become. Fluency doesn't mean speaking perfectly. It means communicating your ideas clearly and naturally. Chapter 4: Reading and Writing for Better Fluency. Reading and writing are powerful tools for improving your English. Reading helps you expand your vocabulary, understand grammar naturally, and see how words are used in context. Writing helps you practice forming sentences, organizing your thoughts, and improving your grammar. The combination of these two skills will make you a stronger English speaker. Start by reading simple materials that interest you, such as short stories, news articles, or blogs. If you find a new word, try to guess its meaning from the context before checking a dictionary. This will help you become more independent in understanding English. Over time, you can move on to more complex books and articles. Writing is equally important. You don't need to write long essays. Start with short daily journals, social media posts, or even text messages in English. The more you write, the better you will get. Don't worry too much about grammar at first. Focus on expressing your ideas clearly. You can always check and correct mistakes later. To make reading and writing more fun, try keeping a vocabulary notebook. Write down new words and phrases and use them in your own sentences. This will help you remember them better. Both reading and writing will train your brain to think in English. The more you practice, the easier it will be to express yourself naturally. Chapter 5: The Secret to Learning Faster. Now that we have covered listening, speaking, reading, and writing, let's talk about the secret to learning English faster. Many people believe that mastering a language takes years, but the truth is, if you use the right methods and stay consistent, you can make progress in a much shorter time. The key is immersion, surrounding yourself with English as much as possible. Even if you don't live in an English-speaking country, you can create an environment that helps you absorb the language naturally. The more you expose yourself to English, the faster you will improve. One of the best ways to immerse yourself is by changing your daily habits. Start by switching your phone, computer, and social media to English. This simple step forces you to interact with the language every day without extra effort. Another great habit is thinking in English. Instead of translating everything in your head, try to describe your surroundings, emotions, and plans in English. At first, it might feel difficult, but over time, your brain will get used to it, and you will start forming sentences more naturally. Thinking in English helps you become more fluent because you stop relying on your native language. Another important factor in learning faster is consistency. Many learners make the mistake of studying for long hours once a week instead of practicing a little every day. The best way to improve is through daily practice, even if it's only 15 to 30 minutes. Small, consistent efforts are more effective than occasional intense study sessions. When you expose yourself to English regularly, your brain stays active in the language, making it easier to remember words and phrases. Learning a language is like exercising. A little every day is better than doing a lot once in a while. One of the most powerful ways to speed up your learning is to make it fun. If you enjoy the process, you will stay motivated and learn faster. Watch movies or series you love in English. Listen to your favorite music and read interesting articles or books. If you enjoy video games, try playing them in English and interacting with other players. The more fun you have while learning, the easier it will be to stay committed. When learning feels like a hobby instead of a task, progress happens naturally. Finally, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Many learners delay speaking or writing because they fear errors, but mistakes are a natural part of the learning process. Every mistake is an opportunity to improve, so don't let fear stop you from practicing. Confidence grows with practice, and the more you use English, the more comfortable you will become. Surround yourself with English, practice consistently, and enjoy the journey. If you stay committed and use these strategies, you will be amazed at how quickly you improve. Chapter 6: The Importance of Pronunciation. Pronunciation is one of the biggest challenges for English learners, but it's also one of the most important skills to develop. Many learners focus on vocabulary and grammar, but neglect pronunciation, making it harder for native speakers to understand them. The good news is that improving pronunciation is easier than it seems if you use the right techniques. One of the best ways to improve is by listening carefully to native speakers and imitating the way they speak. Pay attention to how they pronounce words, their rhythm, and their intonation. A great method for improving pronunciation is shadowing, which means repeating what you hear immediately after a native speaker. You can do this with podcasts, movies, or YouTube videos. Try to copy the exact way the speaker says each word, including their tone and speed. This helps train your mouth to produce English sounds naturally. Another effective trick is recording yourself speaking. When you listen to your own voice, you can compare it to native speakers and identify areas for improvement. One common mistake learners make is pronouncing words based on how they are written. English spelling can be tricky because many words are not pronounced the way they are spelled. That's why it's important to focus on how words sound rather than how they look. Learning the International Phonetic Alphabet, IPA, can help you understand correct pronunciation. You don't need to memorize all the symbols, but knowing how to read IPA for common words can be very useful. Mouth position is also crucial for pronunciation. Many sounds in English don't exist in other languages, so your mouth needs to move in new ways. Try practicing in front of a mirror to see how your lips, tongue, and jaw move. There are also many pronunciation exercises available online that can help you train specific sounds, such as the difference between ship and sheep or 3 and tree. Small adjustments in mouth position can make a big difference in clarity. Finally, don't stress about having a perfect accent. The goal is not to sound exactly like a native speaker, but to speak clearly so that others understand you. Accents are natural, and even native speakers have different ones depending on where they are from. Focus on being understandable rather than eliminating your accent completely. With consistent practice, your pronunciation will improve, making communication in English much easier. Chapter 7: expanding your vocabulary. A strong vocabulary is essential for fluency in English. The more words you know, the easier it will be to express yourself in different situations. However, many learners struggle with memorizing new words. The key to learning vocabulary effectively is not just memorizing lists of words, but using them in real contexts. When you learn a new word, try to use it in a sentence immediately. The more you use a word, the faster it will become part of your active vocabulary. One of the best ways to expand your vocabulary is by reading. Books, articles, and even social media posts expose you to new words in their natural context. Whenever you see a new word, don't just look up the meaning. Write it down and try to use it in your own sentences. Creating flashcards with example sentences can also be a great way to reinforce new words. Apps like Anki or Quizlet can help you review vocabulary in a fun and effective way. Another great strategy is learning words in groups instead of individually. For example, if you learn the word travel, also learn related words like trip, journey, adventure, and vacation. This helps you see how words connect and makes it easier to remember them. You can also learn words through topics such as food, technology, or emotions. This method helps you build a strong vocabulary for specific situations. A powerful technique for remembering vocabulary is using mnemonics, which are memory tricks that make words easier to remember. For example, if you want to remember the word stubborn, you can imagine a donkey refusing to move, since donkeys are often seen as stubborn animals. Creating mental images or funny associations helps your brain retain words better. Finally, don't just focus on learning new words. Make sure you review them regularly. It's easy to forget words if you don't use them. Set a schedule to review words every week and try to use them in conversations, writing, or even while thinking in English. The more you practice, the more natural your vocabulary will become. Chapter 8, Thinking in English. One of the biggest obstacles for English learners is translating everything in their heads before speaking. This slows down communication and makes it harder to speak fluently. The best way to overcome this problem is to start thinking directly in English. At first, it may feel unnatural, but with practice, your brain will adapt and English will become more automatic. A great way to start thinking in English is by describing your daily activities. When you wake up, try to name everything you do in English. I am brushing my teeth. I am making coffee. I'm going to work. This simple exercise helps your brain get used to processing thoughts in English. Another technique is to narrate your surroundings. Look around and describe what you see. The sky is blue. There are many people in the park. The bus is late. Another effective method is asking yourself questions in English and answering them. For example, when you're about to eat, ask, "What do I want to eat today?" and then answer in English, "I feel like eating pasta." You can do this for different topics, such as plans, opinions, or feelings. The more you practice, the more natural it will become. If you struggle to think in English, start by using simple words and short sentences. As you improve, challenge yourself with more complex thoughts. Over time, your brain will stop relying on your native language, and you will start forming sentences in English automatically. This is a key step toward fluency. Thinking in English also reduces mental translation time, making conversations faster and more natural. Instead of searching for words in your native language and translating them, your brain will already have the words ready in English. This skill takes time to develop, but the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Chapter 9. Overcoming Fear of Speaking. Many learners understand English well, but feel nervous or shy when speaking. The fear of making mistakes or being judged stops them from practicing. However, speaking is one of the most important parts of learning a language. The only way to get better is by speaking more. The first step to overcoming fear is accepting that mistakes are normal and part of learning. One way to build confidence is by practicing alone. Try talking to yourself in English about your day, thoughts, or future plans. You can also read aloud to improve pronunciation and fluency. If you feel nervous speaking with others, practicing alone first helps you gain confidence. Another great strategy is finding a language partner. Talking to a friend or tutor who speaks English allows you to practice in a low-pressure environment. There are many online platforms where you can connect with language learners and native speakers. The more you practice, the more comfortable you will feel. Recording yourself speaking is another effective way to improve. When you listen to your own voice, you can identify areas to improve and track your progress over time. This also helps you get used to hearing yourself speak English, reducing nervousness in real conversations. Finally, focus on communication, not perfection. Even native speakers make mistakes, so don't stress about getting everything right. The goal is to express yourself and be understood. The more you practice, the easier speaking will become. Chapter 10. Listening like a native speaker. Listening is one of the most important skills in learning English, but many learners struggle with understanding native speakers. The problem is not just vocabulary. It's also speed, accents, and connected speech. Native speakers don't pronounce words separately. They link them together, making it hard to recognize individual words. To improve your listening skills, you need to train your ear to recognize these natural patterns of speech. One of the best ways to improve listening is by listening to real conversations. Many learners start with slow and clear English, which is good for beginners. But if you want to understand native speakers, you need to listen to how they actually talk. Try watching movies, TV shows, or interviews where people speak naturally. At first, it may feel difficult, but don't worry. your brain will gradually get used to it. Another useful strategy is using subtitles wisely. If you find a video too difficult, start with English subtitles to help you follow along. However, don't rely on them forever. As you improve, try watching without subtitles and focus on the sounds and rhythm of the speech. This will help your brain adapt to English as it is spoken in real life. A great exercise for training your ear is dictation practice. Listen to a short audio clip and try to write down exactly what you hear. Then, compare your writing with the original script. This helps you notice the words that are difficult to hear and understand how native speakers pronounce them. Finally, be patient with yourself. Listening skills take time to develop, but the more you expose yourself to English audio, the easier it will become. Make listening a daily habit, and soon you'll understand native speakers without struggling. Chapter 11. Writing to improve your English. Writing is often ignored by language learners, but it is one of the best ways to improve your English. When you write, you organize your thoughts and reinforce grammar, vocabulary, and sentence structure. Writing also helps you express yourself clearly and confidently. The more you write, the better your English will become. A great way to practice writing is by keeping a daily journal in English. You don't need to write long essays, just a few sentences about your day, your thoughts, or your plans. This helps you think in English and improves your ability to express yourself. Over time, you'll notice that writing becomes easier and your sentences become more natural. Another useful technique is writing short stories or dialogues. Imagine a conversation between two people and write it down. This helps you practice common expressions and how sentences flow in natural English. If you enjoy creative writing, you can also write short stories or descriptions of places and events. If you want to improve even faster, ask someone to check your writing. A teacher, friend, or even an online tool can help you correct mistakes and learn from them. When you see your errors, you'll remember them better and avoid making them in the future. Writing is also a great way to expand your vocabulary. When you write, try using new words and phrases instead of always using the same ones. Challenge yourself to describe things in different ways and experiment with new sentence structures. Finally, remember that writing takes practice. You won't be perfect at first, and that's okay. The important thing is to keep writing regularly. Over time, your sentences will become more complex, your vocabulary will grow, and your confidence in English will increase. Chapter 12. Speaking fluently and naturally. Speaking fluently is one of the main goals for English learners, but many people feel frustrated when they struggle to express themselves. Fluency doesn't mean speaking quickly. It means speaking smoothly and naturally without long pauses. To achieve fluency, you need to practice speaking regularly and develop confidence in your abilities. One of the best ways to improve fluency is by practicing common phrases and expressions. Instead of trying to form every sentence from scratch, learn useful phrases that you can use in different situations. For example, phrases like, "That sounds great," "I see what you mean," or "Let me think about it," make conversations more natural. Another technique is speed speaking. Set a timer for 1 or 2 minutes and talk about a topic without stopping. Don't worry about making mistakes. Just focus on speaking continuously. This helps train your brain to think quickly in English and reduces hesitation when speaking. A great way to practice fluency is by talking to yourself. Describe what you're doing, express your thoughts, or even argue with yourself in English. This may feel strange at first, but it's a powerful way to train your brain to think and speak more naturally. If you want to improve even faster, try conversation practice with a partner. Find a friend, teacher, or online language partner to practice with. The more you speak, the more comfortable and confident you will become. Don't worry about making mistakes. Every conversation is a step toward fluency. Finally, relax and enjoy the process. Fluency doesn't happen overnight, but if you practice regularly and challenge yourself to speak as much as possible, you'll see progress faster than you think. Chapter 13, The Power of Consistency. Many people start learning English with excitement, but give up after a few weeks. The secret to success is not learning everything quickly. It's staying consistent over time. Even if you study for just 20 minutes a day, doing it every day will give you better results than studying for hours once a week. One of the best ways to stay consistent is by creating a study routine. Decide on a specific time each day for learning English and stick to it. Whether it's in the morning, during lunch, or before bed, having a regular schedule makes it easier to stay on track. Another important factor is making learning fun. If you only use boring textbooks, you'll lose motivation quickly. Instead, mix different activities like watching movies, listening to music, playing language games, or talking to friends in English. The more enjoyable your learning process is, the more likely you are to continue. Setting goals can also keep you motivated. Instead of saying, "I want to learn English," set specific goals like, "I will learn 10 new words this week," or "I will have a 5-minute conversation in English every day." When you reach your goals, you'll feel a sense of achievement and stay motivated. Finally, remember that learning a language is a journey. There will be days when you feel frustrated or don't see progress, but don't give up. Every small step you take brings you closer to fluency. Stay patient, stay consistent, and you will succeed. Chapter 14, The Final Step. Enjoy the journey. Learning English doesn't have to be stressful. It can be an exciting and rewarding experience. The key to success is to enjoy the process and find ways to make learning fun and natural. The more you immerse yourself in English, the more you will improve without even realizing it. One of the best things about learning English is that it opens new opportunities. You can travel, make new friends, watch movies without subtitles, and even advance in your career. Every time you practice, you are investing in your future. The most important thing is to never stop learning. Even when you feel comfortable in English, there's always more to discover. Keep challenging yourself with new words, expressions, and experiences. The more curious you are, the more progress you will make. Remember, learning English is not a race, it's a journey. There will be challenges along the way, but if you stay motivated, practice consistently, and enjoy the process, you will reach fluency faster than you ever imagined. So, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Keep practicing, and most importantly, have fun. Party Popper.